In what could easily be a smash hit and something that a lot of the fans want, there are many roadblocks and barriers in the way.
Whoa!
So, what I'm talking about today, what we're going to talk about, because Ben Schwartz, the voice actor for Sonic, is talking about it too, is possibly getting to the point where they can collaborate and make a Super Smash Brothers movie. This has been on the docket. We all know it's been in the back of their minds for a long time. Pretty much as soon as they started doing video game movies, and as soon as the smash breakout success of Mario Brothers, where they didn't just have Dennis Hopper and Bob Hoskins and ruining their talents. Yes, this has been on everyone's mind. But first, let's talk about what he had to say about it, and then we'll give our own pontifications on why this isn't a thing. Although we did talk about it in another video about why this is going to be an uphill battle. So, Ben Schwartz, you probably, if you watch Sonic movies, you know the name. You might not know the face, but if you ever watched Parks and Recreation, he played John Ralphio, and that dude was freaking electric. I really loved him in that. But he dreams of a Super Smash Brothers movie crossover with the Chris Pratt Mario and more. By the way, there's got to be a lot more. Studio rivalries might stand in the way, and that is something that we did talk about in a previous video about how Nintendo is very, very protective, not only of their IPs, but there's a lot more stuff that goes into this. But I just want to let him talk first before I go off into it. So, in a recent interview, he has said that this has always been his dream for it, is what he wants to do. But there's things in the way. Now, Sonic the Hedgehog 3, we'd also talked about this over the weekend. Domestically, it beat the crap out of Mufasa, which is very good for it. And now with the kids out of school, hopefully it will even gain a bigger stride, further proving that you can have these kind of IPs and that they will work well for the audience as long as you keep all the other stuff out of it. Just make it a fun action-packed trailer, just like movie, just like the video games are. They're fun, they're action-packed, they're easily accessible. He's also expressed enthusiasm about collaborating with Chris Pratt, saying that he loves them. He's amazing. And he plays Mario. Now, they did work on the same TV show together. Parks and Rec already brought that up. So, I mean, they already know that they have some synergy together. They already know that they're going to work, especially if they're in the same voice acting room and they could just play off of each other, which, hey, come on, guys. Let's think about this. Studios, let's think about this. When you already have camaraderie between the actors and you know it's all going to be animated anyway, when you already have camaraderie between the actors, this should be a very good sign that it will be kinetic on screen just as it is in their real lives. No, he does say, but the idea that we get to build our own franchise because he wants the Super Smash Brothers movie to happen, or a spin-off, or some kind of little like you could even make like an Alien versus Predator thing. And this is where we get into it really, because the idea that we get to build our own franchise, the Sonic franchise that lives on its own, which is very good for the time being. We have so many characters within this franchise. We could do 3, 4, 5, 6 movies. And that's what he's concentrating on right now. Good thing, good sign, because you need to build up these specific characters on their own. They need to stand up on their own before we get the big Avengers moment. And if you want to have a battle royale with a bunch of people we all love in video games, because I'm a video game nerd, I would not be against it. This is not the first time he's gone on record. Oh my gosh, almost called him John Ralphio. Ben Schwartz is a huge gamer. So this is even more of a reason. It's almost like having Henry Cavill in something. It's like if you want to talk about video games, lore, things that would make sense and bring that to the big screen, these are the kind of people you should be listening to because they can get an audience, they can win over the audience, and they also know what they're talking about. However, the realization of such a grand scale project faced significant obstacles. And this is one of those things that we talked about. So Mario is a proper owner of Universal. Nintendo also put out Sonic to Paramount. There's another one that I can't remember off the top of my head, but the Sony one, yeah, and they're basically just shopping around for what they're more protective of, what they're less protective of, what they think will do better for them. They're putting their eggs not in the same basket, they're putting them all over all different baskets to make sure that their IPs are not effed up, which I think is a good thing. I mean, that's Japanese politics, which is totally fine with me because we've seen what happens when things like Disney become such a big conglomeration and they own everything. Well, what do? They forget where that IP came from in the first place. They forget about what made those things great in the first place. They forget about the fans. And if you're going to do anything with gaming, if you don't involve the fans, if the fans are not gelled together and supporting you, you will have massive flops. Disney doesn't seem to know this, or they don't care. They're just money laundering in the first place. So he goes on to say the same thing. It would take so many different studios being kind to each other at the same time. It's not about being kind, it's about coming together. It's the Christmas season. Let's all come together. I know I'm a Grinch, but I still have soft spots in my heart. Everyone can take a piece of the puzzle and make it into a great thing. And it doesn't see the thing with this is that everyone can benefit because they would be putting less in. Okay, we use this over here and you take care of marketing. Okay, we take this over here and you take care of the animation. Okay, we take this over there and then you get the actors involved. And then another person writes stories. You can have so many companies, studios working together. The thing is that Hollywood is so dadgum selfish about all of it. And that's why it's very unlikely that we will see this anytime soon. Nintendo is also selfish, but probably for good reason. And one last thing that I do want to say before I end up, I did not expect this video to go on this long, but I guess there's more to say than I thought there was. Um, you need to, in order to make something successful like this, it would be best for the audience. It would behoove you to already be in these talks and already in the works, building up separate stories with the separate IPs. And then by some circumstance, it doesn't even have to be the same universe. It doesn't. Let them live in their own game universe. Let them have their own adventures. And then you just have one thing where, something happens. Someone takes a magic pipe. Who knows? Someone gets transported to a different realm. They all come together, and it could be like Civil War almost. I mean, Captain America Civil War, if you don't know what I'm talking about, or it could be like an Avengers type thing. There's so many options that you could do, but you do need to flesh out the backstory of all of these characters first for the people who never played the games. And especially if you're going to make them, because they're going to have to be kid friendly, you're going to have to let the new kids, as opposed to old kids, you're going to have to let them get acquainted with these characters and why we all love them in the first place. Yes, we grew up with them. We know the lore. We've paid attention to it the entire time, but a lot of people haven't. A lot of the kids and the younger generations, they, I don't know, they keep it at an arm's length because there's so much other stuff coming out. So let them build up their own universes first and then somehow have them come together and you can make a story out of that. Yes, it is years in the making, but that's what made the MCU so profitable and so hype worthy in the first place, is because they actually used to take the time to build everything up. And so when you got that big payoff, that was the money shot. But everyone's a little bit less patient, shall we say, nowadays. This is a TikTok generation. But in order for it to work, that's what you're going to have to do. Anyway, if you have anything to say, this is Multi from the GCA. Leave it down in the comments below. If you like what you see here on this channel in any way, please subscribe. It costs you nothing. We've got a lot of people working here, and we will be live tomorrow on Christmas Day for those of us who don't have family around and still want to hang out with friends, whether they be on the internet or in real life. Or maybe you just want to get away from the in laws. All up to you. Y'all have a great day. Merry Christmas Eve.